Hi, this is Jamie Hansen with Bourbon and Biz. Today I have a wonderful guest, Colonel Torin Hamilton. He's the OCAR Comptroller,
Yes.
and also the Army Vice President for ASMC DC chapter. So thank you for joining us today. So my first question for you is, tell me a little bit about your career.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. Glad to be here. So a little bit about my career. I'm Active Guard Reserve, AGR, Colonel here at OCAR headquarters for Belvoir, Virginia. I started my career off in ROTC as a junior, and also started the Army Reserve at the same time. So I was in the simultaneous membership program, SMP program, where I was a drilling reservist, and I was in ROTC at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So lucky enough to find a finance slot as a drilling reservist in college. And when I got commissioned, I was commissioned into finance. So that was a win-win for me to start my career.
Well, you don't always see that in the military. And like, hey, I got a degree in finance. Hey, we want to make you a chemical officer. So.
Exactly.
That's a match. That was a great match.
Yes, yes. As a accounting major in college, that was a perfect match for me.
And then, so what are some of the other assignments? I think when we spoke earlier, you mentioned you were with SOCOM for a while?
Yes. So I started my career off, like I said, in the Army Reserve. Got picked up after Officer Basic course at Fort Jackson. I got picked up into the AGR program, Active Guard Reserve program. And my first duty assignment was Fort Bragg, center of the universe.
Wow.
And the first unit of assignment was with USASOC, U.S. Army Special Operations Command. So I was the funds officer there. I got to do some great, wonderful things. That was working with an active duty unit and a special operation unit at that.
Wow. And then you said you had a couple deployments.
Yes.
During those deployments, were you guys using MASI, which is money as a weapon system? I know. I remember rewriting that for 2011.
Yes. So we were in the very beginning stages of MAS when they came on board. So my first deployment for our OIF, Operation Iraqi Freedom, was with USASOC, attached to SOC CENT, Special Operations Command Central, as a SOF LNO, liaison officer, myself and one other soldier, two-man team. And our job was to link finance units with SOF elements in theater. So we did move money around the battlefield. We were also deputy dispersant agents. So we pushed money out to units, special operations, Army Reserve, Navy, Air Force, everyone under the umbrella, and link those to the units with the finance support in theater.
So with that in mind, can you share maybe some of the challenges and similarities between Army funds and what you witnessed while you're on active duty? I don't know if they're similar or are they different?
So there are some similarities and there are some differences.
Okay.
The similarities exist on the operation and maintenance side of the house. So for the operation and maintenance Army for active duty is very, very similar to operations and maintenance Army Reserve. So it pays for supplies, equipment, transportation, travel, just same as active duty.
Sure.
Where it differs is on the mil-per side of the house, so military personnel. So for the active Army, military personnel Army, and for Army Reserve is Reserve Personnel Army, RPA. So unlike active duty, where soldiers are on orders, 24/7 because they're salary employees, Army Reserve soldiers have to be put on an order in order to perform duty.
Okay. So are those orders? I remember I was sent to Panama, for instance, when I was on reserves. Back then, they call it ADSW, Active Duty Special Work. So those orders then allowed me to go to Panama for like 6 months.
Right.
So I'm sure the name has changed now?
Yes, the name has changed. It's ADOS now.
ADOS, okay.
So Active Duty for Operational Support.
Sure.
And there's two types. There's ADOS AC, Active Component, which the Active Component pays for, reserve soldiers to come on board to support them, or Active Duty for Operational Support Reserve Component. So ADOS RC, which is internal to the Army Reserve. It allows us to bring soldiers on orders to perform short-term missions. either in a TDY status up to 179 days or PCS status 179 days or more.
Okay. That's good to know, because I know we've used reservists to help us out when we were in Europe. And we had, I think, 10 rotations of reservists coming back to back to give us that support. So active duty as well as reservists work hand in hand in many missions.
Yes, they do.
So with that said, ASMC, for the ASMC Early Careerists, do you recommend that they belong to ASMC? And what are your thoughts on CDFM?
So yes and yes. I think, yes, definitely joining ASMC as an early careerist is beneficial. It allows early careers, whether they're soldiers or civilians, to plug into a network of people with similar backgrounds, similar interests, wealth of knowledge. It also allows them to plug into a wealth of training opportunities. And for those who are interested and pursue a CDFM, it also provides continuing education training credits for those individuals.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think people need to shout from rooftops and share their stories.
Yes.
It's very beneficial indeed. So with that in mind, talking about your final thoughts about ASMC, what do you think about it as it grows for the future?
So I think ASMC have come a long way, done a very good job with providing professional development opportunities for everyone that participate. And I think for the future, I would like to see more Compo 2, Army Reserve, National Guard, Compo 2 and 3, participation within ASMC to make it a truly joint, unified opportunity for everyone.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can leverage your leadership in being able to grow that. That would be great, because I think sometimes we think this is just for active duty, and it's basically, that's not true.
Right, it's for everyone.
The education and everything else, it can fit just about anybody, regardless where you're at.
Absolutely.
Yeah. With that said, sir, thank you for joining us, and appreciate you celebrating ASMC's 75th Jubilee. And we look forward to anybody else out there that want to join us in this conversation and share your stories with ASMC.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.